Hello darlings, this is a little video for Patreon. It's a little bit of a test because I am going to start making content, and tomorrow is the 1st of May. Tomorrow we have a last quarter moon before the new moon coming up on the 8th. So we're going to have a quick look at what the month of May looks like. I've already done a little video, but this is my second attempt of trying. So we've got everything set up for right now. I began with the light. It's now dark outside. So yesterday, the big news is that Jupiter entered into Taurus. So we're coming into the time of the fertility god of Api. And the ruler of Taurus, Venus, is now also in Aries. So Venus rules Taurus. And Venus is in detriment in Aries. She is a very aggressive Venus, who normally rules a sign opposite Aries, Libra. So when Venus is in Aries, she's competitive, she's pushy, she can get whatever she wants. She can use her seduction in selfish ways instead of keeping the peace. You have a very competitive energy of Venus in Ra. So the sun is now in Aries. The sun is exalted. The sun moved into Aries officially. Let's put it, make sure we're absolutely, yeah, we're here. So the sun was on the 18th normally. Yep, so it's already been in Aries for a good week now. Let's go back to now. So we're in the energy of Ra, and we've got Mars, the ruler of Aries, sinking in the waters. So Mercury is now moving forwards, but Mercury is still in detriment and in fall in Pisces. So even if we come out of that retrograde, of that sinking, we still have Mercury conjunct to the key, conjunct to Chiron, and to the north node of the snake. And we've got the tail of the snake in Virgo, in Virgo opposite. So Mars is now on the tail of the whale. Mars is highly unpredictable, as the ocean is. This is bipolar energy. This is Pisces, and Mars can either be, Mars needs direction, it needs somewhere to direct its aggressive energy, but in Pisces we're in the unconscious collective, and Mars can be, depending on who the people and the situation, but Mars can really bring out the worst type of gangsters, psychopaths. These are the pirates, and Mars can really use Pisces for illusionist war. So Venus was exalted in Pisces, and now Venus is in detriment in the home of Mars, and Mars is also not officially in detriment or fall, but very unpredictable in Pisces. Jupiter is not particularly unhappy or happy in Taurus, but Jupiter is about expansion, it's about growth, and in Taurus his focus is going to be on money, on agriculture, on our material needs, on feeding our, it's all about feeding your values, your worth, but Venus the ruler is in Aries, so that is going to have an effect on how Jupiter behaves, and Jupiter is ruling where Mars is in Pisces, and Jupiter is still conjunct to highly unpredictable Uranus, which is still in Aries. So this is where this month, you know, we've just had this incredible conjunction, and the Generation X, end of 68 and 1969, are born with Jupiter, Uranus and Pluto conjunct. So whenever they are conjunct again, this pushes people with these conjunctions to bring in the changes. So the last time Jupiter and Uranus were conjunct was in the end of June 2010. So our generation, 1968, we were having our opposition, our Uranus opposition at that time. And Uranus and Jupiter, the last time that they began a cycle, the beginning of a cycle was in 1856. So that was in Taurus. This time they began the cycle in Aries, because Uranus only spends 7 years in a sign. So you're going to jump a sign every time there's a conjunction, because the conjunction of Jupiter-Uranus is every 14 years. Jupiter moving through a sign every year, and Uranus every 7 years. So they meet, they jump a sign every time. So 1856 was the last time they began a cycle, but that was in Taurus. And this time they've just begun in Aries on the 20th of April. And now Jupiter enters Taurus. Jupiter, the ruler of where the key is, of where the North Node is, of where Mercury and Mars are. And we've got the Olympic flame arriving in Marseille for the new moon. We've got the Chinese president coming to meet Macron right in front of where I live at the Pic de Midi. The Pic de Midi for between the 7th and the 9th, so just before that new moon. And we've got this, you know, they're going to be right Venus that makes that 5-pointed star. She's in detriment. And we've got Jupiter, the ruler of the empire, in Europe, Taurus, bringing in those changes, and they're still underneath Algol. And we have got, for that date, we've got Ponce Brooks, Stellarium. Here, let's put that date, the 7th. So, Ponce Brooks is going to be right underneath, right on the wand of Merlin. So P is 16, B is 2, that is the summer solstice. 21/6, 16/2 is 216, right where the sun will be. So right on that position of the summer solstice. So Kate and William came here in 2016, that's 216. And now we've got the Chinese president coming to the Pic de Midi, to the Pyrenees, with Macron, because this is the 5-pointed star. My village is the 5-pointed star. We've got the regiment of the Helios helicopters, the 5th regiment of helicopters in Pau as well. So there are big changes coming to Europe. We've got this energy. I've said recently in a video that Asia and India, very much the power maybe merging with Europe, and then we've got America and Russia, in my opinion. But the changes are coming. This is a whole new cycle from 1856 beginning. We've got Jupiter now in Taurus. So this is a very lucky time for making money. Although Uranus, when Uranus moves into Taurus, Uranus is in detriment in Taurus, but it can bring changes. It can bring, you know, as much as it can suddenly take away your possessions if you're using this Jupiter properly without having the vice of avarice very much. If it's not greed, if you're finding your true value, your true worth, this is a time where you can really pick up on this new energy, this new cycle, and bring in new ways of bringing in money. And And so, yeah, quite good that I begin Patreon, therefore, with this energy, and I'm doing it all by feeling. I don't really think very much. I just go with feeling. So let's go back to the charts, to this. So I get confused because I have done another video before this one. Have I already showed you? So this is, let's go to the 1st of May. So we can see Jupiter has just moved into Taurus. Uranus is still in Aries. And Pluto and the moon tomorrow are conjunct in Capricorn, making a square to Aries, to Sun and Venus. So very much that energy of these two high cardinal earth and high cardinal fire. Mars and Saturn are very powerful together. Capricorn brings in that ruthless, cynical, cool, calculating, and Mars brings in that fiery, passionate, competitive. So, you know, this is raw energy, and this is, and the Capricorn, well, they're going to the top, they're coming to the top of the mountain, making a new peak at the top of the Billy Goat mountain. That's not going to be, that will be, the moon will have moved by then, but still that is that mountain, that's climbing to the top of the mountain energy. And then we have Jupiter and Uranus making a semi-sextile to Mars and Neptune in Pisces. So Neptune, this illusion, Mars, the ruler of Aries, where Venus and the Sun are working with Neptune. So that is full of deception. That is the empire. That is Macron. And this is your Ra. We've got Jupiter and Is. We've got Ra. We've got Macron representing Europe. And we've got the very powerful Pluto in Capricorn. So Pluto, the moon, making a semi-sextile to Mars and Neptune, making a semi-sextile to Jupiter and Uranus, and Jupiter-Uranus making a trine to Pluto and the moon. So the moon has got that subconscious depth trigger of Pluto, profound emotion and feeling of leadership, and Mars with that touch of madness, confusion, illusion of Neptune, but also very ethereal. And you know, you can use that in a way to make dreams come true. And Jupiter and Uranus still bringing that change, but Jupiter now coming into everything which is money, worth, food, agriculture, really finding what those five senses, finding the skill. I always say Taurus always brings in a skill. Working, this is very creative, Taurus and Capricorn together, and then everybody talking to this South Node in Virgo. So basically that new moon is what we'll be focusing on right now. We have the Olympic flame. You have the Olympic flame, which is arriving. So Mars is now in Pisces. Just as the oceans are unpredictable, so is Mars in Pisces. We have mutual reception. Mars in the home of Jupiter. Well, Jupiter is actually in the home of Venus. Jupiter's now moved into Taurus. So new moon on the 8th of May, the Olympic flame arrives in Marseille. The pirates, Pisces, Jupiter, the old maritime empire, and the new merchants of Marseille. New moon in Aries, ruled by Mars, and the Olympic Aries flame arise from ancient Greece, ruled by Zeus. Mars, ruler of Aries, in Pisces seas, with Hermes the messenger still in fall and detriment in Pisces, conjunct to the key. Chiron is the passage to above. head of snake Rahu, Mars square to his own sign Aries, where Sun, Moon, Jupiter, Uranus and Venus are all conjunct. This is a very spiritual passage for those able to pass through. Jupiter ascending with a clash of the Titans. So in my newsletter, everything is building up to May Day Midi, the maypole spin. The Olympic flame will arrive in Marseille, where Ponce Brooks was found. Comet Ponce Brook, or Devil's Comet, is observable through the month of April, heading west at the start of the night. Discovered in Marseille in 1812 by Jean-Louis Ponce. So we've got the Jacob's Ladder, JL, Justice League, and the Ponce is the second lowest section of your brainstem, just above your medulla oblongata. It forms a key connection between your brain above it and your medulla oblongata and spinal cord below it. So we really are at I am Maximus. We're at full expansion, and we have to find that contraction. Saturn, Jupiter. Your Ponce is a part of your brain stream, a structure that links your brain to your spinal cord. It handles unconscious processes and jobs such as your sleep-wake cycle and breathing. It also contains several junction points for nerves that control muscles and carry information from senses in your head and face. So that, I'm not going to go into all that now. It's all in my newsletter. Let's have a look at the 15th for the first quarter waxing moon. And then we'll have a look at the Pentecost on the 19th of May, which 17, 18, so 15, start with the 15th. So on the 15th for the first quarter moon, we have got the sun, has entered Taurus. The sun enters Taurus on the 13th. Was it just at the end of on the beginning of the 14th? Let's see. No, on the 14th, sun enters Taurus, and then Uranus is still in Aries. Uranus moves into Taurus at the end of May. It's Uranus that enters at the end. Okay, so on the 15th, we're going to have Venus still in Aries, Uranus still in Aries, Sun in Taurus, Jupiter in Taurus. So Venus again, the ruler, but it's all Israel. It's all Israel. We've got Venus right under Algol. So that is a very, very powerful first quarter. The moon square to the new moon that we just had, and the moon is going to be in Leo. So the 15th is a big day. 15th is 5-5. Two directions of the sun and the moon, and the heart, it's the devil card, it's the 15, and that in the day is going to be over Regulus on the 15th, where the moon was for the falling of Notre Dame. So that's a big day. The sun rules Leo, the sun is in Taurus, and we've got Mercury then. Mercury still in Pisces and Mars still in Pisces, but Mars right on that, Mercury right on that V for victory. So then on the 19th, 1819, then we've got Venus conjunct to Uranus. Venus now at home in Taurus. She enters Taurus. On the 19th, on that day. Goodness. Okay, so that's big. She is the five-pointed star. Something will be being prepared for this arrival of the Chinese president with Macron. And then we've got Jupiter conjunct to the sun. And where will the moon be? The moon is going to be on, again, in Virgo, La Marianne. So that is a huge... So by the 20th, it's going to be on the 20th, it's going to be on the blue star. And on the 19th, it's still in Virgo. So it's going to be conjunct to the tail of the snake. Okay, so a quick run through. We're having a look at the whole month here. So Mercury, when does Mercury enter Aries? Mercury enters Aries on that 19th day as well. Just on the 19th, 20th. So then this is a big day. We've got Venus that enters Taurus. Venus enters Taurus. And Mercury enters Aries just on the 20th. And Venus is now at home, therefore in domicile. And Mars still drowning. Saturn still in Aquarius. Pluto's going to be in Capricorn for a long time. But we'll look closer at those charts as the time moves forward. We're just focusing on the coming new moon for now and having a quick look at May. So let's just move on. Yeah, so it's going to be when do these guys, when do they go on to Aldebaran? We will have the sun on the bullseye with Venus for the 1st of in June. And then on that 31st, Uranus enters. So that is going to be a big day. Uranus enters on the 29th. Yep, on the 29th, Uranus enters Taurus. And that, so this next cycle, this next, every 168 years, there is a new cycle. And this one began in Ra for the next 168, but the next cycle of 14 years is really beginning its time now in Taurus. So this is everything to do with your worth, finding your skills, finding your grounding. I always say Taurus is very material. When you find your material worth, then you can break through to find that spiritual black magic woman. You know, this is the energy of Egypt. And for that 15th, you saw, we're going to have the moon in Leo. So this is a great time whilst Jupiter is in Taurus for this first year of Uranus's entry, is to really get a head start in finding what your new worth is and beginning this next 14-year cycle on a good note. Okay, darlings, so I will load this up to Patreon. And just remember, this is just my first trial of the kind of content that I'm going to be bringing to my Patreon. I'm going to be really exploring all the different things I can do, lives, webinars, and I'm just going to be throwing everything for the first month with just one payment of €5 for everything, and then I will start to separate it to tiers once I feel comfortable with how I'm going to work and how I'm going to separate the tiers. But what I really want is a community where I feel free to show my face, where I feel comfortable with people who support me. And the more I feel that, the more that I'm going to really enjoy bringing you my inner worlds and really creating our community here. Okay, sending you lots of love, my darlings. Bye for now.